Thank you all very much for joining us. This is an introductory webinar about the FdSc, which is a foundation degree in payroll management for UK payroll. Thank you very much for joining us. We're going to have 45 minutes here today. It's a fairly quick canter through, but we've allocated some time for questions and answers at the end. So please do feel free to ask questions. If you're a bit intimidated about coming on screen, no dramas, just write it into the chat function and I'll share it with the team when we get to that point. So first off, we'll go through some introductions and why we're all here today. And then you can see our agenda for the next 45 minutes. We'll go through the course, give you an overview of the course, the key benefits for why you might want to consider joining up for this course, a little bit on the structure of the programme, the fees and your next steps before we go into the Q&A. So just to get started, I'm bullet 3, that's me, I'm Emma, and I look after the marketing for work-based distance learning programmes, of which this is one. And I'm really delighted to be joined today by Dr. Charlotte Smith and Ian Walters. So I will introduce Charlotte and then Charlotte will introduce Ian. So over to you, Charlotte, if you give us an intro. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you, Emma. So hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming today. As Emma says, my name is Dr. Charlotte Smith. I am a senior lecturer in organisational behaviour here at Lincoln International Business School. I'm also the programme leader for the FdSc, and I'm a module tutor on several modules on the programme, so you'll see me quite a bit over the course of your studies. Also with us today is Ian Walters. So Ian is, as well as being an experienced payroll professional himself, is also a tutor on the programme.
Thanks, Charlotte. Yes, I'm here representing the CIPP today, the only chartered body in the UK. We've about 7,000 paying members at the moment, and if you remember, you get reduced costs on training, you get access to our advisory line where you can ask any questions that you want, payroll related, that the team will try and solve for you, and you get to go to events and meet up with other people in the payroll network and build your network across the industry. We also have a policy and research team, and they work very closely with the UK government when we're looking at legislation updates, changes and introductions. Why am I here? Well, I'm a tutor for IPP Education, who are a subsidiary of CIPP. I've been doing that for about 30 years now, but I'm also a tutor on this particular programme, on this FdSc. So I've worked with the university to try and help build this programme, and it's been approved by the CIPP.
Thanks so much, Charlotte and Ian. And for those of you that joined us just after we got started, welcome. Thank you for joining us. It's a quick canter through 45 minutes to tell you all about the foundation degree in payroll management. So our next slide is to give you an overview of the course. And Charlotte, I wondered if you'd be able to give us that overview as course leader.
Absolutely. So yes, the FdSc, it's a foundation degree in science. It's a vocational higher education qualification here in the UK, which means that it combines academic learning with workplace skill development. It's equivalent to the first 2 years of an undergraduate degree. We're the only university in the UK offering this degree in collaboration with the CIPP, and it's a new qualification aimed at current or aspiring payroll managers, supervisors and team leaders who want to progress to payroll management positions whilst gaining a UK recognised university qualification at the same time. In terms of entry requirements, you need to be over 16 years old, hold a minimum of 3 GCSEs at grade 4 or above, which is a grade C under the old system in English and maths, have a minimum of 2 years work experience in a payroll related role, and you must hold CIPP associate student membership while studying for the FdSc. So if you don't have that already, then you would need to have that in place by the time you enrol with us. It will take 3 years part-time to complete the programme, and since it's an online distance learning course, you can be anywhere in the world and fit in your studies around your work and your other commitments. Another nice feature of the programme I'd just like to mention is that you will be invited to 2 graduation ceremonies. The CIPP graduation, which takes place at the Symphony Hall in Birmingham, as well as the university graduation in the beautiful Lincoln Cathedral.
Absolutely, thank you very much. And what a real blessing to have 2 graduations. So I wonder, Ian, would you be able to walk us through some of the key benefits of the course?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Emma. So one of the great advantages of this is the flexible learning. You can study this, as Charlotte said, from anywhere in the world, entirely online. You don't have to attend any sessions, so there's no traveling and cost involved in that and time involved in that. So that's a great advantage, I think. You'll get lots of support. So you'll get support from industry experts like myself and others that will be involved in helping and supporting. But you'll also get the support of the University of Lincoln and all the academic support that goes along with that, which will be really helpful and powerful. But you will need to join as a member, as Charlotte mentioned. So I'll cover that a little bit later on, what's involved in that. But all the things that I talked about previously, all those advantages you get will come along with that membership that you would engage in. There's also industry recognition. So the CIPP is well known throughout the industry, as is IPP Education, for providing that real industry expertise. Many jobs now that you might apply for will ask for a CIPP qualification. So this would fall into that as a recognised qualification that employers are wanting, but it also has that university accreditation through the prestigious University of Lincoln as well. When we think about practical application, it gives you the opportunity to use theoretical knowledge, but apply that into real life work situations. So how does the theory inform what I do on a day-to-day basis? And how does it validate what we're doing within the organisation? Should we be doing things differently, or are we actually following best practice? And that allows it to create value for you as the student, but also if you are employer sponsored, and they want to help with your qualification, then it's adding value for the employer as well. And many times I see people going back to their organisations with suggestions and recommendations of how they may do things more effectively or more efficiently or more compliantly, and that will really help your employer as well. Then when we think about future-proofing, it will allow you to feel more confident in your space back at the office. You'll be able to use the business knowledge and the business processes that you learn on this course to help you to maybe evaluate what your department's doing, but also this strategic influence that payroll can have within an organisation. So often we don't take advantage of that. Payroll has a massive amount of knowledge and information stored within it that's not always utilised effectively by the business. This will give you some tools to help you to make that happen. And from that, give you the opportunity to further your career. And maybe if the direction you want to go is into a more senior position, then be able to have a more senior management position within the business. And it will also give you the opportunity to become a full member of the CIPP. You have to be an associate for this, but it allows you the opportunity to become a full member once you've got this qualification. So hopefully that's helpful. Back to you, Emma.
Fabulous, thank you. And just to remind you, as we're going through and we're about to jump into programme structure, if you have any questions for Charlotte or for Ian, please do pop them into the chat. So Charlotte, would you be able to talk us through the programme structure?
Absolutely. So as you can see on the slide here, the programme is separated into 2 levels. So I'll start by just talking through the level 4 modules. So the programme starts with an introductory study skills module, which is designed to gently guide you through the various tools and techniques of academic study. So it doesn't matter if you've not studied at this level before or haven't studied for a really long time. By the end of this module, you'll feel confident and well equipped with the essential academic skills that you'll need to be successful on the programme. The second module, Managing People, tends to look at the vital role of people management in ensuring effective payroll delivery. So it delves into the importance of managing and supporting employees, and it introduces you to some theoretical frameworks and practical techniques involved in people management. The third module, Payroll Practitioner, I'm just going to hand over to Ian to talk about. So Ian is our main tutor on this module.
Yeah, thanks, Charlotte. I think the thing that I find really important that's often overlooked is that payroll are responsible for probably in most industries the largest expenditure of the business, and yet it's not given the importance that it needs. We have a lot of power and knowledge at our fingertips, and we should use that. So while we have that, we should think about how payroll professionals can utilize that knowledge, that information, that data that we have. And this module will help you to become more competent and confident in being able to express your views within the organisation. So some of the things that we cover in this particular module, we'll be looking at how to use payroll data to inform and support business decisions. Also look at things like statutory and contractual compliance, which many of you will be familiar with on a day-to-day basis anyway, but up-to-date information on that. Thinking about what tools you can use to minimize risk, and that might be risk of payment errors, overpayments, underpayments, but it might also be things like the risk of fraud. And we all know how that's escalating in the modern world, the bigger risks that are there. So we'll talk you through a lot of those sorts of things. We cover things like resourcing. So how do we get staffing levels appropriate for the need? Have we got the right staff skills, the knowledge, and do we have succession planning well equipped within our business? Often that's overlooked, I think. So we'll look at things like statutory payments, expenses, benefits, terminations, and also national minimum wage, which is a key area at the moment. So just a highlight of a few of the things that we'll cover within that module.
Lovely, thanks so much, Ian. Thank you. Yeah, one just final thing to add is that the payroll practitioner module is designed by the CIPP and it's regularly updated to ensure that it remains current and relevant. And so I think that's really important just to stress. Moving on then to the final module at level 4, which is organisational effectiveness. This module looks at how people and systems come together to enhance effectiveness. So it allows students to consider how the payroll function works to support organisational goals. So that's level 4, and then moving on to level 5, the first module at level 5 revisits academic skills, but this time the focus is on advanced research techniques, which are going to be really essential for the work-based project at the end of the programme. Then we have the employment law module, which gives students a broad overview of UK employment law so that they have the legal knowledge and skills that are going to be needed for effective payroll management. Then the programme revisits the role of people within operations in the leadership and management development module, which looks at leadership but in the context of payroll, so in the student specific context. And then the module the programme concludes with a capstone module, which is the work-based project. And this is where you have the opportunity to apply your learning from the course to develop a project which is aimed at improving your own organisation. And throughout this module, you will work with a personal supervisor who will provide you with guidance and support. So, as I've mentioned, the course takes 3 years to complete part-time, and each level is 18 months. You will study one module at a time. Each module lasts for 12 weeks, with the assessment submitted on the Monday of week 13. The learning approach is mainly asynchronous, but we do also have several live sessions per module, and we offer one-to-ones with tutors where needed. The live sessions would typically take place around sort of week 2, week 6, and week 10 of each module. And the precise timings will be confirmed by the tutor at the start of the module, taking into account the availability of the group. But they're most likely to be in the evenings or at weekends, so you can fit them in around obviously work and other commitments. And we always record live sessions, so you can watch them back if you're unable to attend live. The last thing I'd just like to say is just to stress, really, regardless of your background or the last time that you studied, you will receive great support from the university to help you to achieve your goals. And this extends from myself as programme leader for any pastoral matters, your module tutors. We have a work-based distance learning administrative team, university support services through the library to help you with things like finding sources and referencing. We have a digital education team and a very well-equipped student support centre. So lots of support available there for you to help you achieve your goals.
Absolutely, and you know, and all that is available to you as a distance learner. So you know, as has been made clear, you don't have to come to Lincoln, although it is an absolutely glorious city if you want to come visit. So thank you ever so much, Charlotte and Ian, for that. We've had a couple of questions coming in. Everyone do add your questions in after that detailed run through, or fairly detailed, but given it's not detailed for the detail of the course, but do pose any more questions that you have. We've had a couple about eligibility into the chat. So next up, it's the fees. Charlotte, did you want to run us through that?
Yeah, absolutely. So the fees are as shown here, £13,250 in total, no VAT to pay. So that's for the 2 levels of the programme, and that's split into 3 instalments. So typically that's at the beginning of year 1, beginning of year 2, and beginning of year 3. Plus the associate student membership of the CIPP costs £145 per year. And in terms of what that covers, it's all of your induction sessions, all of your module tutoring on the modules, access to the university's study platform, Blackboard, university registration, and as a University of Lincoln student, you have access to our online library, and you can also access our University of Lincoln library in Lincoln, should you ever fancy a trip to Lincoln. Like I said, it's a beautiful city, and so if you can, you can always come and have a break in Lincoln and check out our on-campus library and resources.
And Ian, would you be able to tell us a little bit more about the CIPP membership that you need to have?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Emma. Yeah, so I mentioned CIPP membership earlier. If you are already a member, that's absolutely fine. You don't need to take this in addition to, but if you're not a member, you do need to at least have associate student membership. Cost is £145 per year, but you're automatically availed of all the benefits that a full member would get at that point. So there's all those options come straight on board for you. I've mentioned all those benefits before, so I won't go through them again. This is a discounted down price, so it's £80 down on the normal fees, and also all the administration fees have been waived for you, so there's no additional cost there. So that's quite a discounted down price for you. If you want more information about the different levels of membership and how you can apply for that, then you can go on to cipp.org.uk, and there's a lot of information there about membership. Fantastic,
thank you. So I guess the next steps are, what would be your next steps when you're on this call? Well, we've got a couple of questions. Thank you very much for those, and do keep them coming if you're on the call and you have more questions and they're not answered in a moment. But the next steps would be for you to apply to the course. You can go to the university website, and to make it super easy, there's a QR code there. That takes you to a page like you can see on the screen. Whilst they have, there's some small text at the top of the form, that's all the sort of the legal stuff. Very simply, when you scroll down, you've got the usual kind of new applicant inquiry stuff about name and email and nationality and so on. So our team will support you through that application process, and I suspect that some of the questions will fall into, or the team would be able to support you through that. So yeah, next steps would be either you can email directly into the work-based distance learning admin team. So that's wbdl@lincoln.ac.uk, or just simply scan that QR code. So we have a few questions. So thank you everyone that's put questions in there. Team, if I can go through them one at a time. We've been asked, is one of the entry requirements that the applicant must have at least 2 years of experience in the payroll team?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, so we are looking for a minimum of 2 years work experience in a payroll related role.
Great. If the person who asked that question can give me a thumbs up on that question, just let me know if that's answered that for you. We've also been asked, do you get any exemptions if you have passed the payroll specialist certificate with the CIPP?
What level is the specialist program at, Ian?
Yeah, there wouldn't be any exemption for the payroll certificate, I'm afraid. You still have to do all the modules.
I think it's also important to stress in relation to the questions about exemptions that this is a payroll management course. So, you know, as you have seen from the breakdown of the modules, whilst the context is payroll, the learning outcomes, the majority of the learning outcomes are really related to the management of payroll, and particularly the sort of people side of things. So it's unlikely that you will have achieved those learning outcomes on prior courses related to payroll. So that's why this is you know, a unique new program.
Yeah.
Great, and great context there. Thank you, Charlotte. We've been asked, do you have to provide evidence of your GCSE qualifications to meet the entry requirements?
Yes, you will need to submit copies as part of your application, as part of the application process. Yes.
Yeah, and I can say to that questioner, I had to do the same. I can't remember where the last time I looked at my GCSE certificates. You can go back through the examining boards and they can get them for you. There may be a small charge, it depends on the examining boards, but you can get them, no problem at all. Another question, is there any funding or student loan available for the course?
Yes, the student loan is available. I think there is information on our webpage about this. I would say that the majority of students are funded by their employer, but there is also funding available through the student loans company.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you. So for that go to the website. So if you use that QR code, that takes you to the website. And if you scroll through the page, there's a bit there about funding on the webpage about the degree. We've also had a question. Completing the FdSc would provide eligibility to enrol in the BSc Leadership and Management with CIP once completed.
Yes, great question. Yeah. And yes, the answer is yes. We've just updated the website with some information about this, but yes, if you successfully complete the FdSc, then you can top up your degree and gain access to the BSc, which would typically take 18 to 24 months longer. So you would just complete the third year of that program, and you would come out with a BSc at the end of your studies.
Great, thanks, Charlotte. Right, the questions are coming in thick and fast. We're clearly sparking the ideas, so great, please keep them coming. So we've been asked, I'm from India and don't have a payroll degree, but I do have 7 years of work experience of UK payroll. Do I need any kind of degree or can I opt for this course? Also, are there any discounts in fees for students outside the UK? 2 questions. So the first bit about being in India, do you need a specific degree or will their 7 years of work experience suffice?
Yeah, you do not need any specific degree to apply for this program. 7 years of work experience in payroll, I'm sure will stand you in really good stead. I'm sure it gives you a really solid footing to start this program. As for being outside of the UK, not a problem at all, provided, of course, that you are operating within the UK payroll context. This is a UK payroll focused program, so I think it's just important to stress that for anyone outside of the UK. Regarding discounting fees, I don't have the information to hand, but I think, again, if you were to follow the links on our webpage, it would take you to the relevant information through for our admissions team, who would be able to answer those questions.
Great, absolutely. So remember, you can get to that page by simply scanning that QR code on the screen. We have another question. Is there an apprenticeship levy route?
Not that I'm aware of, Charlotte.
No. The answer to that question is, I think for now, no. It's not something that's on the cards currently, but we're always looking at new things. So possibly, I guess, in the future.
Absolutely. Okay. Thank you. Does anyone have any more questions, either that they would like to put into the chat, or if you wanted to come off mute, if you wanted to raise your hand and ask while we're on screen, then please do. You have us for another 15 minutes odd, so we're here to answer any questions, or or perhaps allay any concerns that you might have, or barriers to putting in your registration. I guess the key thing to say is if you fill in that form, there's no obligation at that point to progress, because people still have to put in all their documentation and so on. So perhaps it's good to make that clear. Whilst it says apply now, you're not fully committed until a bit later down the process.
No, I think also to say that our admissions team are, really brilliant, and you'll be assigned an advisor who will liaise with you throughout your application process. So, if you don't have, the right kinds of evidence, it won't be a straightforward, no. They'll come back to you and request that additional evidence. So, if you are interested and you would like to put in an application, then there's nothing really to stop you doing that, and then they'll let you know if anything further is needed.
Brilliant, thank you, Charlotte. Okay, so another question. I don't have a grade C in English GCSE, but I do have 20 years experience in payroll, currently employed in an assistant manager role. I assume I'd need to resit. Sad face, I can relate. If so, would foundational level 2 in English be acceptable?
I think, given, like you say, your very significant amount of experience in payroll, I would encourage you to apply anyway. We have something which is every application will come, if you don't meet the entry requirements, we will have a referral system where it will come to the program leaders. That would be myself, and your application will be looked at in the round. So I don't think it would be necessarily a no. I don't think we'd be asking you to resit English GCSE, put it that way.
Woohoo! Fingers crossed. Okay, but I think that's a really good point, that yes, there are these entry requirements and so on, but as Charlotte was saying, it's to give a flavour, and people have this balance of qualifications and experience that will be looked at to come onto the programme. So another question, how many exams are there throughout the course, or is it all coursework based?
Yep, I'm really pleased to say that there are no exams on this programme, so it is all coursework based. So as I said, all of the assessments are submitted at the end of the module, in week 13. But there are also what we call formative assessment opportunities throughout the modules, where you get an opportunity to submit draft work and you will receive feedback from your tutors. So it helps you to get a sense of whether you're on the right track, what improvements need to be made before you submit your work for summative assessments, or assessment that counts towards your degree mark.
Great. So that's a bit like having a pre-MOT done on your car before you actually take it in for your proper MOT. I love that. Brilliant. Okay. Well, are there any more questions out there in webinar land? At the moment, not. So I think maybe, team, we've done a good job of answering off questions. We'd, hang on. With regards to student fund, this is where we're looking at typing speed. Yeah, so it looks like we've done a pretty good job. Here we go. Someone has submitted their application. Finance has cleared, but they haven't heard anything. I guess that's, we can take that away and check that. If you want to pop an email address into the chat, or if you email, might be simpler to do it this way. If you email wbdladmin@lincoln.ac.uk to say exactly that you've put into the chat, and they'll be able to see where things are for you. If anyone could answer, so I hope that answers that question about getting the update. It may well be that there's some element of your eligibility that's being checked, but let's get the team to get back to you. So could you have a combination of is it SL? Is that student loan and self-finance work? Yeah, could you balance it?
I can't say definitively, but that would be a question that our finance team would be able to answer. I think, again, if you were to email that work-based distance learning admin email with your question, we'll be able to direct that to the most appropriate team to answer.
Great, please do. Thank you. Another question. I hold a bachelor's degree from another university in the UK. Are there other universities in the UK? Okay, just joking. But never took GCSEs, as I completed that level of education in a different country and never took a maths exam. Would my degree and 10+ years experience in payroll suffice, or would I be required to sit or to have a maths GCSE?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think, given that you now have a bachelor's degree and also significant experience in payroll, I think that would suffice. So yes, I would encourage you to apply if the programme interests you, and obviously if the admissions team have any queries, they will refer that to me for approval.
Great, thank you. I've added the email address, that work-based distance learning at WBDL admin. I've added that email link into the chat if anyone wants to copy that. Great. Well, just when I think we're about done with questions. Oh, Ian, did you want to throw something in?
Yeah, I don't think we've thought specifically about the next intake, Emma or Charlotte. So I think I'm right in saying the next intake is May of this year. So applications would need to be in by mid-April, with an induction starting, I think it's around the 12th of May, something like that, with a start date the week after. I think my dates are right there, Charlotte. So if you are thinking about how soon could I start, that's the next intake that we've got.
Yes, you have to apply before the 14th of April.
Yeah.
Then that gives us time to go through those kinds of questions that you might have in order to get you fully registered on the programme before it officially starts on the 12th of May.
Yeah, and we have 3 intakes a year, so October, February and May. So if you miss the May one, then you don't have to wait too long for the next intake to come around.
That's right. We have another question. I'm just going to move my screen down. I'm looking up because it's like I'm running NASA here. So how long from point of submission would it usually take to confirm enrolment?
I don't know. I think it would depend on the type of application, so the nature of your applications, or how how closely you meet the entry requirements. I think fairly quickly, if you meet all the entry requirements, and you're able to evidence that quite cleanly. If there is any need for further evidence or any discussion with the program leader, myself, then it might take a little bit longer. And it also depends on sort of what other programs are recruiting around the same times, and what other applications the admissions team are processing. But we do our very best to process applications as quickly as possible and keep you informed throughout the process. And as we've just said, if you do experience any delays and you want to know where your application's at, if you email that work-based distance learning email address, they can answer that for you, or at least direct you to the person who'll be able to advise you.
Yeah, and just confirming that obviously that membership that I talked about does need to be paid in full prior to starting the course as well.
Yeah, good point, well made. Thank you, guys. So it sounds like the how long it will take was it depends. It depends on the complexity of your situation, but we absolutely have the team here to guide and support you through that application. So are there any further questions? We've had some thumbs ups and some thanks. So thanks Ian, thanks Charlotte. We have 10 minutes if anyone has any further questions. Otherwise, you are very welcome to take yourselves back to the office, go get the kettle on again, whatever it is that you're doing this afternoon. But thank you ever so much for joining us, everyone. We look forward to seeing your application onto the FdSc payroll management for UK payroll, remember. Thank you very much. And we look forward to seeing you on the May cohort. Remember that deadline date of the 14th of April. So we just had a little sneaky extra question come in. Okay, so is the FdSc course strictly for individuals who are 2+ years within payroll? I have completed payroll courses with skills first up to level 3 at my local college and would like to advance. Does this count credit-wise towards my enrolment?
Can I just check with Michael? Are you currently working in payroll, Michael, or are you not in payroll at the moment? Sorry to throw a question back at you. Answering a question with a question.
Yeah.
I've just allowed your mic, Michael, if you wanted to unmute yourself and have a chat with us.
Oh, hi there. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I just wanted to ask a few questions. I've contacted the University of Lincoln previously via email some time ago. I have been looking for work to get into payroll for the past 2 years, and I've just been facing a lot of obstacles that I cannot seem to overcome. But regardless of that, I wanted to ask about the course in general. Does it single me out if I do not possess those 2+ years of work-based experience?
Yeah, I think if you're not currently working in payroll, Michael, maybe there are other options. We have a raft of qualifications that are and courses that you could attend that might be more appropriate for you if you're not currently working in the payroll environment. This course would probably need you to be working in the payroll environment and have those 2 years experience for you to be able to properly engage with it. So maybe get in touch with us through cipp.org.uk and we'll have a look at what might be an appropriate route for you to take.
All right, no problem. Thank you.
Thanks, Michael. Great question. We've had another one come in. Thank you. Must you have completed any other CIPP qualifications before undertaking this course? I've been in payroll for a number of years.
No.
No, as long as you meet the other criteria, you don't need to have any other CIPP qualifications now.
Thank you. Okay. Anything else? Oh, we got a thank you for that. So thanks, Danielle. So we've had lots of questions about eligibility. Oh, another one's just coming in. Okay. Oh, it's a nice long one. We have a graduate officer who was considering applying. However, they don't have 2 years payroll experience. They've been with us 6 months. Therefore, it does not look like they're eligible to apply. As an organisation, we're looking at succession planning. Therefore, the plan is for them to become part of the payroll management team in future years. So what course would you recommend we look at instead of this one?
So there's potentially a PSC course that they could go on to, which is a CIPP only course. That's at level 4, which would give them probably what you're looking for at this stage. But again, if you get in touch with us through cipp.org.uk, post a question in there, we'll get somebody to have a look at the specifics of your individual situation and then see what's the most appropriate route. But that's the route that comes to mind immediately.
Yeah. So that's one of those it depends answers.
A little bit, yeah.
Let's have the conversation and look at that individual case. And to do that, I've popped the CIPP web address into the chat.
Might be better actually thinking about it going to inquiries at.
Okay, hang on. Inquiries at
cipp.org.uk.
There we go. Another question, which might be our last for this webinar. I'm working in a pension section of a payroll department. Is that okay?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, that's absolutely fine.
There we go. Brilliant address. We'll see you in May with any luck. So yeah, please do. As I say, we've got the screen there with the QR code. Go there, have a look at the web page that will reiterate the things that we've talked about today. Get an application in so that any questions or queries that come up with regards to your eligibility, you've got time to go and find things, and the team can go away and check on the specifics of your situation. And we would love to see you, and if not on the next cohort, then the next one later in the year. But do please keep in touch. Thank you very much for registering for today. We will keep in touch with you and keep you up to date with what's going on and future dates if you haven't registered for the May. So thank you very much. Thank you, Charlotte. Thank you, Ian. Thank you ever so much, everyone, for joining us. I release you back onto the wild of Monday.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much.